Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us and welcome to the second edition of The Roundup. My name is Brian Skowronski. I'm going to be your host, and if you are a fan of high school baseball and softball right here in North Central Ohio, then this is going to be the show for you. Over the next several minutes, we're going to break down all the top conference matchups, take you through some of the best performances that we saw last week, and get you set up with all of the best head-to-heads that we've got going down on the OH Report coming up this week as well. And we're going to begin over here with G-Man and Storm standing by. They've got your double play.
Hello and welcome back to the double play. Storm Bluntschly joined by the illustrious Garret Parlett. And Garrett, we covered a lot of softball this weekend, a little bit of baseball, but I believe you wanted to touch base with Hillsdale softball.
Yeah, Storm Hillsdale, a very good team, but here so far they've been a little inconsistent. They lost to Norway twice this year so far, who was one of their biggest competitors in the WCAL, and they did beat Keystone, though, one of the better teams in the area, 3-1 at the Wendy's Classic.
Speaking of the Wendy's Classic, another team that was over there competing, the Ashland softball team. They've been a little inconsistent here through the early goings of the season, but their pitcher, Brandon Raymer, sheesh! She is an excellent pitcher, and her changeup is absolutely disgusting. That team, I believe, is going to be really scary when they can put all the pieces together. I also covered a little bit of Lexington softball, and they are a threat. They actually beat Ashland softball, so they are another one to keep on your radar. And I think to close things out over here at the double play, you wanted to talk a little bit about Crestline baseball.
Yes, Storm, that is right. Crestline baseball, their defense is really what they pride themselves on. Elijah Evans, one of the better pitchers in the area. They played Lucas when I was up there, and he had 12 Ks. They ended up shooting themselves in the foot. That's really their biggest threat, is to themselves. They were up 3-0, and then Lucas only had one hit through the sixth inning, and then they kind of just rallied, and Lucas ended up winning that one 6-3. But in the next night, they ended up knocking off Lucas in 10-0, not even through 7 innings. They run rolled them. So it's just they got to be more consistent. They got to get all the pieces together to be a very consistent team.
I believe consistency is the key to things here going down the stretch, but that's going to do it over here at the double play. I believe Sir Brian Skowronski is going to head it over and hand it over to Travis now.
That's right. I'm going to carry the torch. Over here, we're rounding third. All right, let's round third now, and here waiting for me, Travis Berardi. When we just left the double play, G-Man and Storm were talking about Crestline baseball having a nice season, but they just got beat down on Saturday by Colonel Crawford, a team that you want to talk about. And I think we knew that the Eagles' offense was going to be potent, but they've really had two dynamic pitchers that have led them to 11-0.
Yeah, what's the saying? They were who we thought they were.
Good.
Drayton Burkhart, Cade Hamilton, both 5-0 for their team, both ERAs under 2 for the number 3 team in the state, but they do get a big test in undefeated in Northern 10 Winford. They're 16th in the state. They're their rival. They get 2 games this week starting tonight, and that's going to really determine if Crawford can remain undefeated, if they are on that path to being like the basketball team, doing a regular season undefeated streak, and who's going to win the Northern 10.
And like the football team too.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The senior class, they got to go on over there in North Robinson, and I really look forward to taking in both of these games on Monday and Wednesday. We'll have highlights for both. In the KMAC, Travis, another state-ranked team in Northmore that you know pretty well, off to a pretty nice start.
Yeah, 18th in Division 3. They have a really good lineup, a lot of young pitching that can get out of some jams. They've split with Centerburg. They split with East Knox. Those are their 2 losses in KMAC, and they lost to Worthington Christian, who is undefeated right now. The top team in the Central District. Northmore, like I said, was state-ranked, and they still have a good shot at the KMAC. They have 2 series this week, 2-game series with Cardington, Lincoln, and Danville, both on the lower spot of the KMAC standings. They can get past those. They have 2 big series coming up next week to finish off the season against Highland and Fredericktown, both with 1 loss in the KMAC. They split their series, so Northmore right now, they can control their own destiny to a KMAC championship if they can win out.
And when we spoke last here, when we were about to round third, about the MOAC conference, it was super jumbled. We didn't know much. Has anything changed over the last 7 days?
Yes, it's gotten even more jumbled. Galleon and Clear Fork games I covered, they split their series. You had River Valley giving Ontario its first loss.
Right.
So now we have 4 teams, 1 game behind Ontario with 2 losses. Clear Fork, Shelby, who lost twice to Ontario already,
Wow.
Pleasant, and Clear Fork. Those are the 4 teams, 1 game behind Ontario, and this week they all play each other. Shelby plays Galleon in a 2-game series. Ontario plays Clear Fork, and then Pleasant plays River Valley, who's been playing spoiler. They've split with Clear Fork and Ontario, so you never know. They have 3 losses. They're still in it. So you have a good 5-6 teams that still have a shot at winning the MOAC with 2 weeks to go.
So what you're telling me is that there's a chance for just about everybody right now, and the storylines are about to unfold this week. Everybody getting a chance to play each other up at the top of the conference.
Yeah.
All right, Travis, let's go ahead and head home for a Grand Slam. Tell everybody about the best thing that we saw all week. We have rounded third, and we are ready for our Grand Slam. Fill you guys in on the best thing that we saw all of last week. Travis, we'll let you go first.
It's actually a pair from the Galleon Clear Fork matchup that we had. Very good matchup in the MOAC. First game, Jared Scott, complete game, 2 runs. Clear Fork gets the big win, and then the next day, Carter Kenneth from Galleon completely shut down Clear Fork. 1 run, complete game. Both of those pitchers phenomenal.
I'm going to go with a freshman this week, and I'm going to go with Micah Thomas, showing out for undefeated Colonel Crawford. Just a 9th grader, but he made all the big plays in a big win over Mohawk to keep them at 11-0 on the season. Came through with a 2-out, 2 RBI double in the 6th inning. Right when the Warriors were starting to make it close, they scored 4 runs the inning before to make it a 1-run game. Micah came through and then did his first ever media interview. There was all sorts of shenanigans happening all around him, and he kept it together. Micah Thomas is my best of the week.
For me, I think I'm going to go back to Ashland. I talked a little bit about them earlier in the show, but Brandolyn Raymer, their pitcher, I mean, her ability to finish games and her just as many pitches as she has, it's disgusting to watch her pitch. And her ability to finish games, she just is an incredible player. And not only that, but she bats in the meat of the lineup. So an all-around player. So, that's going to be my player of the week this week.
I think I'm going to go with Hillsdale's Emma Fowler. Did a great job at the Wendy's Classic against Keystone. Keystone's defense was being stormed. A little sus when she stepped up to the plate. She had a 2-run RBI triple, and then later would go on to score in that same inning, and really amounted all to Hillsdale's 3 runs against Keystone as they picked up that big win 3-1.
All right, well, one thing for sure, here on the Roundup, we are never sus. That's your Grand Slam. We're going to take it home, and we'll see you guys right here, same time, next week. Check us out at a field near you all week, though.